Welcome everybody to Mastering AI in Real Estate. Um, Kind of a fun topic. I think everybody loves some of the things that are happening in the AI that's really being become a very useful tool in a lot of agents' arsenal. It's also been a really useful tool in everything I do really nowadays. It doesn't matter if I'm cooking or if I'm out shopping or if I'm just finding ways to present a creative solution to a difficult task or whatnot, or I'm just looking to do some research in on something. I'm using AI every single day, and for those of you that are not using it and are here today to see what this is all about, it really is a good introductory course in getting into AI. And then forward as we take it over the next few months and years, we'll continue to roll with what's happening because as you know, and I think most people on today's Zoom meeting probably have attended some of the AI training we've done in the past, and or, even right at our fall or spring kickoff event or in person in Richmond Hill when Ron O'Neill came out and, explained what AI was all about. He really he started off a couple of years ago explaining, where it came from and how people were using it, and it really originally started off as a replacement to Google, and I think we're still obviously using it in that way. But what he's saying is so much more, and not to treat it like if you really want to get the most out of AI, don't treat it like Google. Google is obviously a very accepted way of research and analysis, trying to figure things out in the past on when you pop open your computer and you want to find information, but it's really not smart in the way that it's telling you what the answer is. It's saying, well, here's a lot of people that have posted things on the internet, and you figure it out. You're trying to, read all the articles, and then eventually maybe you'll come up with a solution. But you read this one that's, saying the opposite of this one over here, and it's really not smart, right? It's not telling you necessarily what you want to find. It's just what other people think. So what AI is like having an assistant. And everybody who has had an assistant or asked for advice from somebody before, could be your doctor, your therapist, could be somebody at the grocery store to find out what the best fruit is for this meal or whatever it is. You're asking for somebody's opinion, and AI is an opinion, right? It can't be taken as fact because it's still what it's doing is it's doing all the research on that specific topic and coming up with it thinks the right answer is based on the information that is out there, either on the internet or that it's been fed in the past. But it's doing some thinking. It's sort of saying, hey, based on everything you're saying, here's the best information I can come up with. And what AI does is a ton of research. There's type of research that would take you months to complete, and sometimes years in some cases with some of the deep searches now. And it's coming up with the answer that's most likely the answer pretty quickly. And it starts off with an IQ of about 120. It's up to about 146 or something, or 170 now. It just keeps getting smarter and smarter. So it's becoming more useful and more useful. I really do want you guys to engage with me today if there's any questions, any different, topics or things we want to dig into together. And it really is a together thing because it's new and we're all learning. So if anybody wants to, share some experiences and share some answers, feel free. We're smarter together, as always. So the definition from AI, right, is it's referring to computer systems that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as understanding language, recognizing patterns, making decisions, solving problems. AI works by processing vast amounts of data and learning from patterns, improving over time. From virtual assistants to self-driving cars, AI is transforming industries by automating tasks, enhancing efficiency, enabling smarter decision making. And I want to use maybe the example here that they have with self-driving cars. Self-driving cars in the beginning were, everybody was nervous, right? You're going to make a computer understand that somebody's going to walk in front of the car and what you're going to do to, avoid the avoid the person and minimize any damage in terms of crashing and all the rest of it. And we all know that there's been, instances where AI got into an accident or whatnot. But what they're doing is playing the percentages. If the computer system can think faster and better than a person, it becomes, safer, right? So, and that's where we're at with self-driving cars. Well, I think we all know that self-driving cars eventually will cut down the amount of accidents, the amount of catastrophes that'll happen. There will always be glitches. There will always be issues, and that's where insurance comes in. And a lot of insurance companies will be like, is this good or is this bad? I think most people are starting to realize it's probably a good thing. It'll bring down the instances from happening. But like anything, it can make errors, and the decision making to swerve from one to hit another, or it's got to be split second, and that's where some of this really fast computing comes into. So AI is thinking for us, and this can be dangerous. It can be a concern of some. And that's where people bring up, where is this going to head? And there's the fear of the unknown right now, and lack of regulatory bodies trying to keep it under control, and what AI is going to be capable of in the future. So the important thing to know from a real estate perspective, from our perspective, is that it is another tool in the tool belt. We keep saying that. It's another opportunity to make our lives more efficient, problem solve a little quicker, and to implement it where we can, and have there's some fun stuff with, of course, some of the videos and pictures that you can get, and um, different things that we can do in terms of our own limitations, from grammar to the way we present listings, and the listing descriptions and everything. So we're going to dive into some of those things that are most useful right now, and then look at maybe even things that are coming down the pipeline. So where should you start? And some of you, I think all of you probably, and I really like to do a poll on that, but would like to know what you guys are using day to day, if you're using, and where we can help explain, what sort of use this can be and how easy it really is. It's a great starting point for real estate agents because it's easy to use and instantly boost productivity. It can help write property description, draft emails, social media post, generate scripts for client calls. Agents can use it for quick market insights, brainstorming ideas, and refining their communication. With no setup required, it's a simple way to integrate AI into daily tasks and see immediate benefits. There's a lot of companies that are jumping on this bandwagon of opportunity, and probably presenting you with solutions every day in terms of advertising on your social media. Anytime you pop open your computer, different ways that you can engage with it. Just know that there is 101 different models for every little thing, and different companies that are trying to win this war against who's going to be number one, and not to put a lot of stock in one specifically. Even the best of the best, the OG, the original ChatGPT with OpenAI, is not always the number one solution to every problem, or every AI solution, because there's always new models coming up, and big companies doing big things. So that's where we need to stay on top of things, and to kind of look at what's my go-to for every day, and then what I'm going to try a little bit here and there. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The first thing I want to talk about is lead generation and follow-ups. I think that is one of the most exciting opportunities for the future, but also the most dangerous in terms of regulatory issues. There are AI-powered CRMs currently that are out there that really do help, and they're getting better. Chatbots, which I'm concerned with a little bit, as well as the call, real sounding, call and converting bots as well. And they're not real estate agents. They don't have their real estate license. So you have to be careful. Some of the US models is different for Canada in terms of what we can do. So when you're having an AI person, and a lot of companies are now really being careful with it, but suggesting listings, or trying to convert over the phone, for example, that's not it's not regulated, but it kind of is. RICO doesn't allow for that, so you could get in trouble down the line with that. I haven't heard anybody yet, but I could see that happening. The creative ones that I've seen, Lopo is one of them, as a CRM right now that is doing converting over the phone. So they're calling the client directly, and getting them in touch with the real estate agent at a very early stage. So saying, I'm a digital assistant. I understand you're looking for this house in this area. Can you tell me a little bit more? As soon as I say, can you tell me a little bit more? you're kind of gray, right? But what they're saying is, let me get in you in touch with Aaron Richardson. He's a great real estate agent in that area. And if you could just hold the line, I'm going to connect your call now. And these are the sort of things, if you can do it creatively, can be very powerful. Essentially, save you time as well as conversion opportunities there. So lead gen is something to keep an eye on. Like I said, there is some companies that are doubling down on it and taking advantage of some of the leveraging some of the cost, and they will try and get you for a longer term. Try not to get into longer term situations. I would definitely go month to month on anything you do see, just to try it out as well as to make sure that if something better comes along, you can jump on it. But be careful with it. Next is the marketing and content creation. That's where we're sort of starting right now with it. They can help write property descriptions. I think if there was the number one thing agents are using it for right now, that'd be my guess, is property descriptions. And it comes to grammar, spelling, the way they, it really does come up with a smooth sounding property description. Excuse me. So that's really helping. Where it's actually made the most, the biggest increase in terms of quality right now, which it wasn't even there the last time we spoke, was in an image creation. The image creation is actually getting really, really good, and coming up with great social media image posts that are obviously not, I mean, you can use them because they're not copyrighted. And really, you can tell it to, adjust that picture any way you want. You want somebody with a different color hair, different, look or design, or where they're standing, how they're sitting, the lighting, anything you want to come up with, it'll sort of recreate that image. And the only thing it doesn't do a really, really good job of is any text within that image. So you can say, put the Century 21 logo in there, and it'll do the C21 and kind of have a distorted look to the logo because it's trying to come up with something that has text. So text isn't great. What they're actually doing is they're taking the prompt and creating an image from text. They're not searching the internet for an image and copying the image. It won't, just for copyright reasons, it will not do that. It can recreate based on what you're saying. So, although I have seen some pretty good pictures with a C21 logo they're getting better with. So I don't know how they're doing it, but I think over the time of learning what people are saying, create a C, put the 21 in the C, make it this color. They're creating it, and then they're remembering that when somebody says Century 21, that's kind of the logo. So they're not actually copying it, they're regenerating it. It's interesting. So some of that marketing content creation, Canva is probably leading the way in terms of the most plugins for image creation, not only image, but just an all-in-one studio for marketing bricks for social media. So, if you're looking for that ability to create posts, as well as, put your own flair to them, because you can edit within Canva. Canva is definitely a big one. Let's talk about market analysis. And when we say market analysis, I want to, make sure that you realize that's not a proper market analysis on a house. We're not talking about a CMA here, okay? Because it can't do CMAs. It cannot do CMA. I don't think it'll ever be able to properly do CMAs. It can be a tool in coming up with a, maybe a time adjusted value of a house, or taking all the information and sort of compiling it and sort of coming up with maybe an average or something. But you need to do your own research in order for it to work. So those tools can analyze the market trends and generate reports and help with pricing strategies, but only help, right? So if you put in, 12 listings that are similar and comparable and say, what do you think the average is on this? Well, if one of those or 4 of those of the 12 that you submitted are skewed because of the area or size or things that it can't tell the difference, it's going to skew the result. So you really do have to still go out, see the property, know what it looks like. And I mean, that sense that a buyer gets when they walk into a house, it'll never have. So you'll never be able to say if that house was worth the price it sold for unless you were in the house. And that's where you have to utilize that's where it'll never beat us, right? As real estate agents, there's the human aspect of negotiations and all the rest. There are a lot of things that AI will be able to do, but until we have walking robots and it can feel and sense and all the rest of it, which let's be honest, in one day it'll probably happen. But we're still going to be putting our own thoughts into and being more accurate, definitely with market analysis. But this is good for putting the Toronto Real Estate Board, if you're taking a TREB market report stat for, it's 30 pages of information over the last year, and it could be you feed it with 20 years of data if you wanted to, and then say, hey, back in 2002, what was the benchmark price for Newmarket? And then now, what is the benchmark price for Newmarket? What's the time adjusted value for that house? And then apply that, for example. Those are good, really good tools. And I know some models, including Remarketer, is dabbling in that for instant valuations for time adjusted values and stuff. So the administrative efficiency. I use this probably the most in terms of efficiency in my job. Anytime I go to create content now, anytime I go to do some research on content and provide anything, even for you guys and everything, I will run it through to find and research if I've missed anything, can reword everything I do to make myself sound smart. But it's efficiency too. Even if I could write as good as it does in terms of sentence structure and all the rest of it, the time for me to type it out is saving itself. Time is money. So for me to say, hey, take my email, even if I did type it out, take my email and just reword it, make it sound better, and or just say, hey Nova, that's my AI bot. Hey Nova, can you write me an email to respond to this email? And just the intonation is that I disagree with what they're saying, and I just talk to my assistant, and then assistant spits out an email as a response. I read it over, and I'm like, 9 out of 10 times, I'm like, wow, this is amazing, really, really good. Things for your own standard operating procedures and or the way you handle your business or presenting a proposal, a market evaluation, responding to an email that, or, you just hosted an open house. You wanted to give an email to the seller to let them know how the open house went. You can very easily pop open ChatGPT and ask them to create an email and just talk like you would to an assistant. The open house was great today. We had 5 people through. They said that the house in general was, it was showing a bit small. We probably suggest maybe moving some stuff around. Maybe we can meet on Friday at 8 o'clock, or would Saturday be better? And then just say, create an email, and it'll rewrite it, put it in a nice little format, and you're off to the races. So administratively, it's awesome. So those of you that have administrative assistants or utilizing somebody currently right now, my suggestion is to get them really utilizing AI for their efficiency, because you still need somebody to be able to do all this. They can just do more for you. So administrative time has been cut back. If you're not monitoring your administrators, they're probably now only working 20% of the day and getting 80% efficiency. So you want to get 80% efficiency. So get them working on other things now as well. You're going to go a lot further now with what your investment is when it comes to paying for somebody to do a task, right? Training and role play. We're starting to introduce this, especially on the role play side of things. You can simulate client objections, just paint a picture. You're going in on a listing presentation tonight. Commission's going to be, you're definitely going to be up against a couple other people. Therefore, I really want to handle some objection handling. Can you please pretend you're this seller's? They tend to be, they're both teachers, so they're very analytical. They're probably going to ask a lot of questions, and it might be more difficult to handle the objection on commission if I'm charging 5% and somebody's charging less. So can we please, walk through this role play? And by the way, that's how you say it to them. You want to write it out, that's fine too. I typically talk, so I'll talk to my AI assistant and just paint that picture and say, okay, let's practice. And you say, call them Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Hey, you can call them the actual names. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, let's talk commission. And then you can go into the conversation and they'll object, and then you'll continue practicing. And I would suggest you keep doing it, even when they, finally say, okay, that sounds good. Okay, let's go back to the beginning and handle it again. I think I can do better. And tell me, am I doing better? Am I doing worse? Just suggest anything. Really talk to them as if they're a human being, because that's where AI is starting to shine, right? So ChatGPT is what, OpenAI is the company that created something called ChatGPT. So if you're looking for the right versions and everything, you're looking for the OpenAI as the software manufacturer or whatnot. And ChatGPT was I'm going to call it the OG, the original gangster. It was the original company that really came out with it or did. And everything else right now is kind of a copy, but there's some pretty good copies out there. Gemini currently is really doing some great things as well. And that's your Google Assistant. So if you go into, your Century 21 account and you go to the business suite of products, you can get Gemini right in there. And they have different models within Gemini, and models meaning it's just the different thing. The models are let's say the programming that goes into whatever you are asking for. It's kind of like software versions, right? So if you got the latest software version or model on your phone of OS operating system, 17, for example, and you're up to date with it, that's the same idea of going with Gemini's latest model. But also there are different models now. One could be more for math and analyzing equations. Another one could be for writing and grammar. Others could be for specifically internet search and ideas and creative. So when we talk about different models, that's what we're talking about. It's either a model that's designed for a certain task, or it's a upgraded model, meaning it's the latest. So when we're talking ChatGPT, and when they say GPT 3.5, that is not the latest, but it is the one that's free. It's fast, capable. It has limitations in terms of reasoning and complex. Limited access. It can have some slowdowns, using it from time to time because it's free. We'll have slowdowns and restrictions during peak usage times. The latest updates come up with ChatGPT 4 Turbo and beyond. There's some beta models and stuff like that might glitch a little more, but that's okay. They're just fixing things. And you don't get file uploads with ChatGPT 3.5, so you can't upload those PDF files I was talking about with market updates, right? So you won't be able to actually give it information from a file standpoint. I find that's a big plus paying for the upgrade, which is ChatGPT 4. The advanced tools of web browsing, code execution, image generation. Yeah, it's interesting. Every now and then I bump into different scenarios where actually 3.5 is doing image generation. So it gets confusing sometimes. I feel like there is no rhyme or rule these days, like just, well, through image generation they know it now, or they've changed it. And it changes daily, everyone. So, this seminar can be a bit outdated tomorrow if something does change in terms of pricing. One of the questions that Paula is asking right now is, your version does a good admin job. What is the name of your AI and its model? So currently I am using ChatGPT 4.0 Turbo. Like, I'm using the ChatGPT model. I was using Perplexity before. It was suggested about a year ago. I was using it until somebody said, oh, you're still using Perplexity. And I was actually Ron O'Neill. He goes, well, ChatGPT's really kind of taken off. And now he's saying Gemini, like it's all over the place. But so right now I am doing ChatGPT. I'm finding it's kind of got some cool features. So I'm going to show you guys it. In terms of limited memory is another one. It's great. I can pop open my Nova and I'll tell it when to make sure to remember things. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It glitches. It does remember sometimes. I'll have to say, by the way, you don't remember that, I bought that, I bought that. I actually, you'll see it in my ChatGPT. I'm into vintage audio. So different receivers and speakers and stuff like that I've purchased, I've asked questions about. So I'll ask the question again, and it'll go into the fact that it forgot that I had bought that model. or that I own that model. Sometimes I was just asking a random question about a model and it says, oh yeah, the one you own. I'm like, no, no, I don't own that one. Try and remember that, right? Like, but you'll be asking questions sometimes like weeks later, and it says, oh yeah, you should try that in your, new fridge you bought. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot it knows I bought a Samsung model 9900 or something like that, right? So it will start to get to know you, which is nice. But knowing that it always changes and it's unregulated, and because it's changing so quickly, I mean, it could all go away tomorrow. Like literally, it could forget all its memory because it upgraded. And it's like it has to learn you again. Um, so the paid one, we talked about the paid one, right? The one that I currently am using. Faster, smarter, more capable. Everybody wants the highest model and stuff. So it's the fear of missing out on something. But I'll tell you, the free model pretty much is, is ready to go for you. It's going to do the basic tasks that we were talking about before in terms of answering questions and researching and everything. So you're not missing a ton, but as soon as you really get into it, yeah, you're going to want to start using some of the features, right? No slowdowns, the web browsing, the file uploads. It does code execution. So for those who are really into computers, you're probably on here going, Aaron, way too basic. I know all this already. Like, yeah, those code people, it runs Python codes, which is the universal, I'll call it universal, but I don't know if that's the right word to use, but the most popular Python is coding, for programs such as even the one we're using today, right? So it can do scripts and automation data analysis. You could tell it to create me a website and then start really going. I need a button over in the right hand corner that says start here. I want it to, when I hit start, do a countdown timer, and then when the countdown timer goes off, confetti goes up on the screen. It'll write a code for it. You plug it into your web browser if you're asking for like a website style, and it'll do what you're asking it to do. It can create websites, it can do all that sort of stuff. So down the road, if somebody's in the design field or website design field, they're going to need to jump on this really quickly because the cost of $10,000 to build a website for you is going to be more like I can do the same website for $50, that sort of thing. It's really going to bring down the cost. And those graphics designers and those that are building websites, they're going to need to really look how to, change their business model. And I'm not saying they're going to go away. It's just makes their job more efficient. They can do more websites and charge a lesser fee, but it's going to be a business model change, right? So they'll be able to do better sites. The DALL-E image generation is what ChatGPT uses to generate images. I've been noticing some images are, you can recreate something that's pretty realistic, and other ones that are just kind of cartoon characters. So it's interesting, when you're prompting it to do something, you can start saying, make it less cartoony and more real life, right? And it'll regenerate. So, or yeah, go with the cartoon image. Who knows, right? Of course, the memory. Prompting is super important when you're talking about AI. A good prompt's important when using ChatGPT because it directly influences the quality and accuracy of what you're looking for. I think I said here, I think it's like giving a GPS clear directions. Yeah, if you say like, take me to Richmond Hill, it'll take you to Richmond Hill, but it'll probably take you to the town hall. If you're vague, you might end up lost. But if you're precise, you get exactly where you need to go. So, and even these ones are as examples aren't even, as detailed as you may want, right? Don't just say, tell me about real estate. You're going to say, what are the top real estate market trends in Canada for 2024? Like I'd go right into, towns and the cities and the month of the year and, how you want to be, I want to see graphs. I want to see, specifics or numbers and, you can even tell it how to act as an economist and pretend you're, an economist for one of the top banks and create a response that is 10 times better than any response you've ever heard, that sort of thing. And you can just talk to it that way. So be specific. It saves you time, reduces follow-ups. How do I improve my business? Would be a prompt. Well, they're not going to be able to know what your business is, right? So, what are the 3 strategies to improve lead conversion in real estate brokerage. Again, I would be more specific. I would be, what are 3 strategies I could do today, given I have no funds, no money, but I've got a great personality and I just want to get out there and meet new people and get business going. What can I do today to achieve that? It'll give you some really good ideas. It's important when using, because it directly, okay, we did that. Did it tailors your response to what you need? Okay, well-structured prompt helps ChatGPT, gives answers in the right format. So whether or not you want bulleted lists and summaries and scripts, examples. Now you see these, I kept these up here, these check marks as an example, right? These little green check marks, they're emojis. I think that's the most acceptable name these days. They're emojis. And when ChatGPT gives answers now, it uses them a lot. So if you ever see a lot of these emojis in some social posts, you know that that's AI generated. And where does your thoughts go to the author of that post? Does it go to, oh, they're really techie and they're using ChatGPT, they must be really smart? Or does it go to, oh yeah, they're cutting corners, that's not from them, and they're really not smart? This is what you need to be aware of. I think the latter. I think that it's making you look copied and not smart. So I think it's important to look at ways to redesign it, make sure it is coming from you, make sure that people aren't thinking it's ChatGPT. I wrote a really long response to an email the other day to my family members, and my brother was like, "Oh yeah, ChatGPT." I'm like, 100%, but I got my point across, right? And he still thought of maybe a little less of my response though. So, you really do need to, when it's writing it out, you can say, hey, listen, that was way too long and it doesn't sound like me. Can you put a different flair to it? Maybe soften things up and not so, business-like and more like you're talking to your best friend. And so, yeah, no problem. And they'll rewrite it and it'll sound completely different with different intonations and might sound a bit more like you. You can ask it to add sarcasm. It can ask it to be friendly and, or you can be serious and professional. I mean, you do want to make sure you prompt it properly for that. Advanced capabilities in terms of role playing. It is advanced. We have this model being built into Excel, for example, and I'm working with them on it because they are utilizing one of the models that is a bit slower. It's not as fluid with the conversation that the advanced model on ChatGPT is. And until they get it to that point, I just, saying the experience won't be perfect. And we want it to be great. So these are, advancements that's coming, but the advanced feature of ChatGPT that we're going to use today, as long as your internet's good and, it's not slow in general, it's been pretty much 85%, 90% good in terms of, and I'm always running the risk of, showing you guys, a demo in live, because it could glitch, it could slow down and you don't get the experience. Just know that it's technology, right? Some days it's going to be great, sometimes it's not. It's kind of like us, right? We have high energy days and low energy days. Well, it's the same idea. Just seeing if I can move on, but maybe that's the last one. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of here. I am going to go into ChatGPT and show you guys around a little bit. So I've already signed up to ChatGPT. I'm not going to go into the instructions of how to do that. But if you ever want the instructions of how to do that, Google it. If you don't have ChatGPT, I was just going to say ChatGPT, but if you have ChatGPT, if you don't have it, then you're not going to. But it's very easy. You're downloading an app and or going to the website through OpenAI. And you can see I'm using 4.0. It is, I don't know if it's the latest anymore. They got a 4.5, but yeah, 4.5 is out. There you go. Though 01 is supposed to be really good. It's advanced reasoning. It might be not as good as fluid, in terms of conversations. So if I switch a model and go over to my advanced mode, it may not even work. But these are the different models, they call them. This is 4.0 mini. I know what that would be compared to the one I'm on there. is it can be a lot quicker, but it's not going to go in deep. It's not going to go into like finding the real answer. With all the, I say the real answer, all the deep dive answers with a lot more content, or it might not be able to find what I'm looking for. The other thing is one of these is called deep research. And with the upgrade, you can only do a couple of them a day sort of thing. And it takes about 5 to 10 minutes for it to go and find the analysis. But if you ever use this, it is incredible because you could, if you really want to find out the details of something, let's say you're researching a paper, whether it be school or anything, looking to research, maybe it's a presentation and you're looking to put together something, or you really want to find out the details of the historical significance in Newmarket or Richmond Hill or Vaughan or something. You can turn on deep research and say, really look into the historical significance of all the different areas in the city that you're, and it will really put together a full research paper for you. Great for blogging and vlogging. And I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying it's always, you know, wants to be packaged. You don't want to necessarily package it as your own research, right? I would always cite that, this is a research model that's been done through advanced AI or something like that. I just don't want you to come across with information that people think that you did. So you got to be careful of that sort of stuff. That's where regulations are going to start to come in and say anything that you've done in terms of research with regards to AI or anything needs to be cited. By the way, AI cites for you as well. So any of the information it does come back with, it comes back with the articles it took it from. So you can always reference. So it's actually doing a pretty good job of citing already. For those of you that know what citing is, right? Been to university, college, any papers you do, you got a cite where you got the information from, so it knows that it's relevant information and that you're getting it from a good source, and that you're not just making things up yourself. So plagiarism and stuff like that, right? Okay, so the original 3.5, I don't even know if they have it on more models. I don't think they're offering it now on here. I do have the advanced, so I think if I was signed in without the advance, it'd probably be 3.5, but it's not even giving me the option to scale down right now. We can even try scaling up and see what the differences are today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some prompts. Now, one of the things that I find just in terms of memorizing, or let's say if I do the same thing over and over again, for example, social posts. If I'm always creating social posts, they're called projects, and you can just hit the plus mark when you're doing projects and then write the instructions that every time you hit social posts, it'll always say, I want you to act as a social media marketing expert for real estate agents. I want you to create 3 social media posts based on the persona of buyers wanting to engage with this post. These 3 posts are engaging for first-time home buyers. Please create captions, hashtags for each caption. Please create prompt images. Now, I may switch that out. The 3 posts are engaging first-time home buyers. Okay, this is really for first-time home buyers. I can say for any home buyer, engaging for home buyers. So let's take first time out, just to be a bit more specific. And what it does is it just remembers that prompt. Every time I click on social post, I have the prompt already. I don't have to re-prompt it. I don't have to tell it how to act. And then I could just say, I want to do a social post on, do a post for, give me something first sheet. What are we talking about today? We're going to say how Trump is affecting the, how the U.S., I don't want to get into politics, how U.S. tariffs are affecting state market. Let's do something like that. Let's see what it comes up with. Post 1, tariffs and timber. What are you really paying for? Ever wonder why home prices aren't falling even when the demand slows? U.S. tariffs on Canadian lumber are adding thousands of costs of new construction. That cozy new build is carrying a weight of internal politics. If you're buying soon, know what's behind the price tag. Interesting, right? Image prompt. So what it does is it gave me the caption, it gave me the hashtags. You can add any hashtags you want. You can tell it, remember, watch this. And by the way, it doesn't go away if I go ahead and start typing. So even though it's still creating them, remember to use hashtag C21HG in all hashtag in the future. So now I will create it. So when I do a cut and paste, it'll already have the ones that I'm looking for. I'm just going to add that to it. Even though it goes away, you still can scroll back, right? So if you can want to do a cut and paste on these, and it says memory updated, right? So I just wanted to, got it. Hashtag C21HG will be included in all future hashtag sets. Let me know if you like these updated versions with hash. It's like talking to an assistant. You're talking to an assistant, say, hey, in the future, you missed this. Can you not forget to miss it again? By the way, it'll forget in the future. Sometimes it'll get it. It's just weird how it works, but hopefully it doesn't. We'll try it later.
Sorry, Aaron, I didn't get why you used hashtag, how it can help. Can you repeat that part?
So for hashtags and going into social media posts, it's how people search. So for example, somebody was to do a search for Canadian housing, your post will more likely come up. Excuse me. It's about hashtagging what the post is with refers to. If somebody's looking for lumber tariffs or asking for a market watch in an area, my post it's sort of telling social media where my post is, so I get more viewers.
So you're putting it right now to use it later when we are sending to social media.
Yeah, so what I would do here is if I like this caption, I would do a cut and paste. I grab this, hit in my computer is Command C, but yours might be controller anyway. So yeah, you cut and paste, right? Copy this over to a Facebook, and this is your post, and it'll already have the hashtags in it. And then your image prompt is what you want it to look like. So what I'll do is for the image prompt, I'll take this image prompt. By the way, I don't know why it just doesn't create the image. I think because of my instructions, I asked it for an image prompt. So, but the image prompt, you can either use within ChatGPT or take it over to an image generator, which is a different model for AI image. But now ChatGPT is pretty good with it. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it. So I'll take copy and then I'll put it under here and I'll create image, and then I'll paste and watch the image it creates. Now it'd take a few minutes or maybe a minute in order to create the image, but we're going to see what it comes up with. While it's coming up with that image, the other two prompts, inflation slowing, interest rates are stabilizing. So why isn't the house market cooling? One big reason is U.S. tariffs on materials like aluminum, steel, lumber are driving up development costs. Builders pass that on to buyers. It's not untrue. It's an interesting point. The hidden costs aren't so hidden anymore. Let's talk strategy. Not a bad post. A young couple reviewing a home and it does an image for you. Then the next one is thinking, by the way, the image is done. Kind of cool, eh? It's getting some of the text proper. Right? But it created this image from your social media post that it created, right? So this will be your image, that'll be your post. What's the next one? Did I do that one? Inflation. So yeah, the next one is thinking of buying. There's a global ripple effect. Here's the global ripple effect. Today's home prices aren't just local, they're global. Tariffs imposed by US and Canadian imports impacting material pricing, development delays, and buyer affordability here at home. Understanding these ripple effects can give you strategic. So really not going into giving any advice. It's just sort of saying there is going to be a ripple effect, which is true, possibly. It creates conversation. These sort of things do create conversation. Anytime you're giving stats or something that's happening globally and an economy wise, people want to have the discussion. So they're really engaging. And of course, the image prompt is a map of North America. So it's coming up with this. It's thinking, what would be the best image for this post? So a map of North America showing the ripple effect originating from the US and spreading to Canada, overlay icons of home pricing, clocks, warning signs for costs, including confident home buyer standing on a Canadian side reviewing a real estate contract. Interesting. We'll take a cup, see how quickly it can do this and how accurately. So this is create image, paste it in. Now, how long would it take you to come up with this content, find the image that's correct, make the post? I can do this in under 2 minutes, right? Efficiency wise, one post a day, three posts a day, whatever you want to do, it's really good. Like, check that out, right? It even spelled North American correct. No, rising delays, rising home prices. These are only things that really read. It's getting some of this stuff right now. In the past, I would have never got that right. But wow, did it ever come up with something that was creative? That's amazing. Anyway, I'm always blown away by some of the things it can do from an image standpoint now. It's only going to get bigger and better. You're seeing a lot of posts currently, and some of you may not realize this, that are on social media that do not exist. Okay. I like talking to AI, so I'm just going to try something here. Anybody know Wayne Gretzky? So Wayne Gretzky and Trump, everybody's talking about that they're, friends, and, get Wayne being a Canadian that we've idolized for such a long time, and we don't like Trump anymore, and all this kind of, or whatever it is, however you feel. But, to create, again, we're going political, but I just think you guys find this as interesting. Create an image that has a picture of Wayne Gretzky looking at Donald Trump, standing in front of a map of Canada, looking at Trump in the US, and make him look a little disappointed about being the 51st state. Okay, I didn't have to type it out. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay. By the way, last week, it would do this. So I'm just telling you, it's changing, right? I'm surprised. Okay, so we're going to go with sure, create it. And by the way, tomorrow maybe it'll come up with it. It's sometimes just one day I asked it for an image and it says I can't create an image, and I said yes you can. And it's, oh yeah, you're right, I can. Like literally, it just had a bad day. It didn't want to create me an image, so it was so weird. It's kind of cool, right? And so you can get creative, you can get funny, you can here it's a cartoon version of Wayne. The other one I did, oh, it was identical. It was identical. I mean, it looked like Wayne. So it's a satirical image. So they're getting into more satirical stuff. Um, I wonder if you can even, sometimes you can keep asking it the same question over and over again. As long as you ask it in the right way, it'll create it for you. So you can have fun with it. But this is, can you guys see where, you can start doing some social media posts and getting some good content from that? Be careful with it. You definitely don't want to start posting things that are causing issues with politics. By the way, stay away from a side of politics. Always look towards how it affects the market and only stay neutral as to, whether it's affecting it in this way or that way. Stick to facts, stick to things like that, right? Let's talk negotiations. Okay, so I created a project. I called it negotiations, and then I just put the instructions in. I want you to be a real estate coach. I want you to create 3 different scripts. First, using Chris Voss and the author of Don't Split the Difference. The second script will be from a top real estate coach, Mark Ferry, and the third script will be from top real estate coach, Brian Buffini. So it's giving me 3 different scripts based on those people and what they have posted out there in terms of their knowledge. And each one has a different negotiating style, so I can get different styles. So I put one in here. Seller doesn't want to pay a 5% listing commission. Someone else said that they would do it for much less. So this is what it came up with. Chris Voss is all about pausing and letting them do the speaking. So that's why his style was a little different. So it sounds like you're being really careful about protecting the bottom line, and I respect that. And you pause, see what they have to say. Now you say, can I ask you, what do you think the other agent's planning to leave out in order to make the lower fee work? They're making Chris Voss always making them think and speak, right? It's all about pausing. Let them sit on it, right? How would you feel about saving 1%, but the marketing didn't attract multiple offers, or worse, you left 5% on the table? That's a big one. I always use that one, right? I said, you're worried about a few $1,000s. Do you know what a difference between 3 and 5 offers is in terms of dollars? Or the difference between 2 offers are over one? We're talking 20, $30,000 difference when people have to negotiate between them, or you're auctioning. So what's the real cost of saving 1% if it means losing thousands? Again, asking questions back, right? Let's go to Mike Ferry, see how he'd handle it. He's bold, non-nonsense, control the frame. I understand the other agent offered to do it for less. And I want to remind you that in real estate, like in life, you'll get what you pay for. Let me ask you this. Do you want the lowest fee or the highest net return? Very straight and direct. I've heard that one a lot, right? There's a reason for top producing charging 5%. We spend more on marketing, tracking more buyers, negotiating harder per price. That's how we get homes sold faster and for more. If saving 1% costs you 5% more on the sale price, is that really saving? And then Buffini style, rational, right? Warm, service forward. I totally understand you want to make sure that you're making the most of your investment. That's super smart. Totally get it. He's more about getting on their side. The truth is, not all our agents work the same. I don't just put the sign on the lawn. I run full marketing campaigns. I work my referral network, personally negotiate every offer, really going into the value personally, talking about the sense and feeling of an agent, make sure that they're on your side, right? I'll make sure that you don't leave any dollar behind. I believe in doing the right thing, the right time, first thing, the right time, right? The right thing the first time, yeah. And my fee reflects the care and attention results I bring my clients, many of whom refer me because of that. This would work very well for those S personalities, those sincere and stable. They really want the feeling of working with somebody they trust. That's where Brian Buffini style really resonates. At the end of the day, it's not about what you pay me. It's all about what you walk away with. And that's what I focus on. So that'll really work with certain people. And so you can see where, this is something, we're not just using ChatGPT for general stuff. We're getting right into it, right into specifics on certain coaches and trainers. Would you like me to turn these role play into scripts for training agents, or turn in a printable objection handling sheet for your offers? I can literally say, make me a marketable PDF for my agents. I want to show you what it comes up with. Not only does it read PDFs, it's creating one. And then what I'll be able to do is download that PDF, and I can, post it. And I don't know if I can post PDFs in the chat or not. But that's how easy it is. And guys, you could do this on your own too, right? Like, this is not something that I think that from a PDF standpoint, creating PDF, it will require an update, but nothing I'm asking here that the free version can't do either. And it's really thinking about this one. So we can also move on. So you've got negotiations. Actually, I want to go into negotiations a little deeper. I want to actually stop this. It'll create a PDF. I want to go into more of conversations. And you can let me know if you guys can hear this okay. I'm sharing the sound, so it should be okay. But I'm going to click on down right-hand side here. And now I can talk to what is considered the regular version of ChatGPT's voice. So for example, it's listening to me right now. So hi, Nova, I'm just explaining to my agents here how you work.
I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble responding right now. Please wait a bit and try again.
Okay, so right now you're having issues with the internet.
Nope, internet connection's working fine on my end. I've got everything I need to create that marketable PDF for your agents.
Okay, so, and it's kind of thinking there, right?
Here's what I'm thinking: a clean, branded one pager titled Overcoming the Commission Objection, 3 Winning Scripts, with a brief intro, 3 sections, one each for Voss, Ferry, and Buffini, and a bold takeaway at the end, like don't defend your fee, demonstrate your value. Do you want your brokerage logo and colors on it? And should I include your name as the source or keep it more generic for agent sharing?
At this point in time, let's just cancel that and move on.
Got it. We'll shelve the PDF idea for now. Want to dive into another objection script or shift gears entirely? What's on your mind?
I'm going to switch over to the advanced voice just to show everybody the difference between the two. I hit the mute button just so she can't hear me now and I won't interrupt her
Nice.
thinking.
That's a great way to show how tone and delivery can totally change the impact of a script. Are you switching from a basic neutral tone to something more persuasive?
Actually, I'm going to, I didn't mean to hit X, but you hit the button down below again. So it'll bring up this is what is included in the free version. And then if I actually click on start a new chat using the advanced, it'll turn blue. Hey, Nova.
Hey, what's up?
I was just showing the agents the difference between the advanced version and the regular version of you.
Nice. How's it going?
Oh, it's going okay. You're definitely a lot easier to talk to than the other one.
Glad to hear it. What's been the biggest difference so far?
Speed and tonality. I just find you're much more pleasant.
Awesome. I'm here to make things smooth. Anything specific you want to dive into today?
Well, let's go back to that objection handling about the 5%. So I'm sitting across from sellers. I've just done my listing presentation, and they're talking about the 5% commission that I'm offering. And they are asking if I can do it for less because others will do it for less. Can you help me with this? Maybe do a role play?
Sure, let's do it. So I'll be the seller asking you to reduce your commission. Ready when you are.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, how does it sound? Let's get this signed up. How does the 5% commission sit with you? Does that sound fair?
Well, you know, we've spoken to a few other agents and some are willing to do it for less. Can you match that?
No, unfortunately, I can't. All the marketing and everything I put into my the efforts to get you as much as I can for the house is super important in getting as much money as I can for you. When we're talking about the costs that somebody's going to pay for your house, it's really, really important that I maximize that. We're talking, you know, tens of thousands of dollars instead of a few dollars that you're looking to save in the commission. Do you understand why I would charge what I charge?
I get that, but if another agent charges less, isn't that saving us money?
It could save you money, for sure. And I can understand definitely why you might feel that way. The problem is saving money sometimes actually costs you money. And if you can just give me a second, I can explain how that can happen. Unfortunately, there are agents out there that are looking to buy your listing. The way they buy the listing is discounting their commission, and then they get to put a sign on your front lawn and attract buyers and hopefully sell them either your property or maybe another property. It really helps in their marketing efforts. So they're willing to buy your listing with a reduced commission. I'm not like that. The way I work is I want to get the most for your house. And in order to do that, there's a lot of marketing and effort I put towards it. So I'm not looking to buy your listing today. I'm here to get as much as I can for your house. And I showed that in my listing presentation. Don't you agree?
That
Sorry, I didn't hear your response. Looks like we're getting a bit of a glitch here. Usually if I give it a second, it'll be fine. Yeah, no, it's connection failed. Is everybody else still on? That's not my internet.
Yes.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. One mistake. Make sure you guys are still with me. I can't even unmute actually at this point in time. Let me try to click to retry. There we go. Are you still there, Nova?
I'm here. Saving on commission might seem appealing, but the net profit is what really matters. My marketing strategies are designed to maximize your home's value, which could mean a significantly higher sale price. Are you comfortable potentially leaving money on the table?
Yeah, that's basically what I said. You're supposed to be the seller, though.
Got it. As the seller, I'd probably ask, but won't we get the same buyers either way? Why pay more?
There's actually a short window when we list your property, and we explain this in the listing presentation, but let me go over it with you again, just so you understand. That short window attracts as most buyers, my marketing attracts as much in the first, let's say, week of the listing as possible. If we get 3 offers instead of 1 offer, the difference could be tens of thousands of dollars in terms of those competing offers. I can't guarantee that in every case, but putting your best foot forward means that you're going to have that opportunity to maximize that price. For those agents that are looking to buy your listing with a reduced commission, that could be jeopardized. Do you understand why you can make more money with me?
I see your point. If your strategy can bring in more buyers and create competition, that might justify the commission. But how can we be sure?
There's never any guarantee, but again, putting your best foot forward on the biggest investment in your life, and I'm sure it's probably one of the biggest. I think it's probably the most important thing. And by the way, I'm not the most out there, and I'm not the least. I'm the best value because I do everything for that cost. You know, there are people out there that also try and take advantage and offer like 6%, but I think I'm fair. Don't you agree?
It does sound fair. You're offering solid value for the investment, and ultimately, maximizing our sale price is the goal. Let's move forward.
So it just helps, right? Trying to get your fluidity on how you're going to handle the situation. You keep practicing that and you'll get better, right? So the other thing is you can actually prompt it to redo this, but be harder on me. Really, you know, give me the gears, right? Or act as a certain type of personality. So you can really go into specifics on how you want it to do that objection, right? In terms of things like newsletters, for example, I like this as well. So I have a section that I've put the instructions. I want you to act as a real estate copywriter for newsletters. I want you to take the following attached data and create an engaged, insightful newsletter. Make it 2-minute read, no emojis. I say no emojis because anything written, I don't want those emojis. What I want, and you don't have to upload a file. I said, you know, take the attached, but I could also just put in I'm in Hamilton today, so I'm gonna do a Hamilton style. Let me go with just, hi, would you be able to create me a paragraph and potentially an image, actually, if you could also do an image, so that I can post information about the Hamilton market update for the month of April. You're probably going to be looking for the most up-to-date market information, maybe March's in Market Watch, as well as anything else that's been posted and what's happening in the real estate market in Hamilton this year, March, and the most relevant. So if you could create something for me, that'd be fantastic. You can and ah, and you can do all that sort of stuff. It'll figure it out. You don't have to be perfect. You could even ask for specific things, price increases, turnover rates, whatever that might be. Here's a market update you can share in the Hamilton real estate market as of 2025. Hamilton real estate market update, April 12th. Hamilton housing market continued to experience a slowdown in March. Residential sales dropped off 444 units, marking a 29% increase. Check these stats, right? It actually gives you references to different sites. So if Judy's wrong, I'm going to be wrong. So be careful. Do you also see why putting relevant information up on the internet gets you more exposure? So when people ask it for information, for example, Judy Marseilles is obviously putting stuff out there because it's citing her on everything, right? And you can ask, you know, this is, have you repositioned the wording here so that you're not copying her stuff, right? It does give you some images here. I'm just curious on those images. So they're taking actual, I've never seen this. I haven't seen it giving me images of other posts. So you would want to definitely, right? This is Mortgage Sandbox. This is definitely, so you'd be wanting to create your own image with that. So I could say, create an image for this. And it'll create its own. So again, it's kind of glitching there a little bit, right? Not really. Like, I mean, it's producing results I haven't received that format before, but it's actually giving images of others. Well, that's probably what I asked it for. I can't remember. But anyways, now it's creating the image for us. See how now it's kind of interesting. Like it's not terrible, right? It's got some writing in it that doesn't make, well, I think it's trying to say 63% there. Obviously, this is not going to be accurate. This is more of just a generic post. So I may actually say recreate this without, without writing, just so I don't want people thinking it's the actuals. Or you just use remarketers, right? Remarketer has its own as well. By the way, remarketer is really engaging on all this. So it's already set up to hit a one button, give you a market report, done by AI. That's how, some of the technology companies are doing it for us. So that's another thing to do. Does anybody have any, first of all, questions, but also, anything you want to see if it can do for us? Other things that it's done. One of the things I wanted to do, if you guys got a few extra minutes here, is show you something that I've used in the past, but I think is pretty cool. It's called Suno or Sono. Suno? I think it's Suno. Suno. There's a lot of them out there. We use Suno just because I'm familiar with it. In terms of creating songs. So if you wanted to, for example, to do a video of your listing or Hamilton or anything, in terms of content, and you just want to create a song for it, this is where you're going to do it. So I just signed in this morning. It's been a while since I've been in here. And the way I would use this, it can create lyrics for you, but I kind of think that it's best to use like ChatGPT to create the lyrics. So I'm going to prompt it. I'm going to create I'm going to go slide just into ChatGPT straight. There's no project on the go. And I'm just going to ask it for song lyrics based on a description of a property. I popped open Facebook and I went to our listings, Century. I was there. Century. There you go, listings. So we can take the first one here and take the listing description. Now, I don't want to create a song with that as the lyrics, right? I want to turn these into lyrics. So I'm going over to ChatGPT, saying, create song lyrics for this listing I have. This is the description for the listing to give you some ideas. Post it in. Again, it usually doesn't have to be perfect, right? A catchy, modern real estate jingle styles for 44 Patton and Collingwood. Upbeat country vibe, something that could be used for a fun Instagram reel, TikTok, or cheeky open house video. Perfect. So here's creating my custom song. I may have also, I wish it was on everything. I actually did ask it to update memory. Never use emojis, right? Because these little song things are not what I need, right? But let me just see if I can cut and paste, and then I'll hopefully be able to take those out. I don't even know what it said there. I'm just going to go over. I didn't read the lyrics, put my own lyrics in. Take out that song guy. Emojis. I think what it's done here is it only allowed me a certain amount of lyrics because I'm not paying. No, I did all of them. Okay, that's fine. So I'll go through, make sure that looks okay. I can't tell if it's going to know that the chorus, like it says chorus, verse 2. I don't know. I'm going to try keeping it in there and see if it knows. Right. We don't want it to be instrumental. We don't want it to, well, it says on write lyrics, but I'm putting in my custom, so that's fine. styles. So what do we want? Let's do pop. And let's hit create. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take here. So if anybody has any jokes or have any questions on this, we'll see what it comes up with and how long. Does anybody have any questions, or has anybody played with this?
No question. What happened, this chat GPT take a lot of admin job.
You know what it's
You
doing?
see, it's
You know what it's
quite,
doing?
this previous time when I want to post on Facebook post, I need to go Canva and make. Now you inform chat GPT, the image you make, never mind. You have to write. Before write, you have to think what you're going to write, then spelling correct or not, go step by step, is make sense or not. But put chat GTP, they will be make for you. But it save times. But yeah, but our side is okay. But overall, this a lot of people will be lost job, maybe future, because when people used to eat chat GTP, then.
Here's a question for you, Dulal. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just posing a question. When the internet came out, pretty big revolution, right?
Right.
Did it create jobs or did it cost people's jobs?
Yeah. Oh, create job. Yeah. Because of the internet. Yeah.
I would think it shifted a little bit, right? I don't see any Encyclopedia Britannicas come to my front door anymore. So somebody lost their job with those. But I looked at this as an opportunity to be more efficient, better at what you do. I also think that if we're working with our children right now, depending on their age and everything, and gearing them towards, what they should be learning, I would be teaching them all this, because it's the ones that don't understand how to use it that may be left behind.
Yes, right. I saw this, some people, our one realtor group in our community, some real estate agent, what happened, they go chat GTP and they put some text message, even they did not read the, what is the content and what's they sending. Then I think 2 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, one person sent one message, totally does not mean what we discussing, and totally is different topic he sent to there. Then when we call and ask him, he said, no, I asked ChatGPT to make this content. I said, before you send, you have to read at least read a few lines, 1 or 2 lines.
Oh,
then
you're 100% right on that. Rico is going to start dealing with these things. Well, I wrote it up with ChatGPT. It made a mistake. Oh, yeah, that doesn't matter, right? Like, you have to read it. Absolutely. I'm going to play our first song, Cruising Up to Patton Street. Are you guys ready?
Cruising up to Patton Street, creekside dreams feel so sweet. 3 big beds and a master suite, got a walk-in closet, yeah, that's elite. Main floor shines with open space, den to chill or work from place. Stainless steel and dinner made, dine and laugh, memories laid. Welcome home, need a 44. Paint so fresh, brand new broadloom floors. Double garage, got room for more. It's the kind of place worth living for. Yeah, 44 Patton's knocking on your door. Basement's ready, just your style. Cold cellar, chilling all the while. Washer, dryer, rough into, add your touch and make it new. Upstairs dreams in every room, space to grow, no sense of gloom. 5-piece bath to soak the day, feels like home in every way. Welcome home, need a 44. Creekside living and so much more. From the first step in, you'll hit the floor with how perfect it feels, can't ignore. Yeah, 44 Patton's what you're looking for.
feels like. Softening things a little.
Cruising up to Patton Street, Creekside dreams feel so sweet. 3 big beds and a master suite. Got a walk-in closet, yeah, that's elite. Main floor shines with open space. Den to chill or work from place.
Keep in mind, this is
Stainless
free.
steel and
It's free,
dinner
which I think
made.
is gonna want
Dine and laugh, memories laid. Welcome home, me to 44. Paint so fresh, brand new broadloom floor.
And I'm gonna go back over that Facebook post. Let's just see if we can have some fun with Peter. All right, Patton Street. I wonder if can I upload? Yeah, it's really just photo or video. Yeah, I'd have to create a video now. Yeah, right. We'll stay there. You can see though, where now if I just threw that into one of the video creation as the audio and just do maybe just a standard, set of pictures and stuff like that, where you can start creating some pretty cool content. So have fun.
If you don't mind, I think this you can edit. Go to this main post, no comments, main post there. Then open that one. I think you can
Sorry.
edit, right?
So what are you talking?
Yes. Go 3 dot and edit. I think I can push right there.
This isn't my post. I could manage it if I do good. I don't think I can just put audio in. That's my problem. I'm just looking for either a picture or a video that I can add. So I'd have to create a video with that audio on it in order for it to, to create a. I could probably do a URL to Suno. Like if I did a share link. Let's go back over. We'll go at Peter. If he's on my I don't have Peter Anthos on mine. But what I can do is just post it and I can share it with them, right? Check the song out. We'll see if we can get it. Anyway. Somebody else is saying in the meeting chat, today's class and previous ones are available to watch in Excel. The answer is yes. Oh, no. Wait, there's a question. Yeah, so the answer is yes. Just create an image of a bank using ChatGPT and I made a post about rates staying steady. Perfect. It's that good. It's just, it's great for content creation. Everyone's using it. You might not want to get left behind on this one, right?